What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another horror movie. Even though October may be over, even though spooky season may be behind us, we can still watch scary movies, we can still have a spooky time, a horror-tastic time, a scary season, even without it being spooky month, because you can be scared shitless all year round, because we all have that. We all have anxiety, which makes us shit scared, paranoid, and panic all year round. It's not just a Halloween thing. So we're taking a look at another horror movie called Cuckoo today, which came out earlier this year, and it's one that I've wanted to watch for a while as soon as I saw the trailer for it, which I did react to over on TikTok, which you can go check out for yourself if you do want to check out everything else that I have to offer as a content creator. You can check out the link in the description to see sort of all the other stuff that I do, and I do quite a few trailer reactions over on TikTok. But without any further delay, let's come back to this video and see what Google has to say. So Cuckoo is a 2024 horror mystery which is 1 hour and 42 minutes, has a 6.3 out of 10 on IMDb, a 77% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 3.1 out of 5 at Letterboxd. So the 17-year-old Gretchen reluctantly leaves America to live with her father at a resort in the German Alps. Plagued by strange noises and bloody visions, she soon discovers a shocking secret that concerns her own family. So, how this movie actually starts is with a really creepy opening with Gretchen sat in the moving van, driving towards this new place. They all get there, and it is insanely obvious right from the get-go that these two parents prefer the younger daughter to the older daughter. They much prefer looking after, talking to, and wanting to see and wanting to talk to their younger daughter, rather than spend any time with their older daughter. So as soon as their older daughter starts acting out and starts being a little bit like, hey, I don't want to be here, why the fuck did you drag me here, I'm going home as soon as I can, I'm going with dad was a bad idea, you know what, I'm fucking off, I'm getting money and fucking off. And as soon as she was offered a job, she fucking snatched that shit up. She worked there 2 fucking nights before getting attacked and harassed by a monster, demon creature, lady, humanoid character, I'm not too sure what to call them. And the day after that, their sister starts having these sort of epileptic fits, which aren't actually caused by epilepsy, they're caused by the demon that is in the woods. She then, tries to steal money to fly back home and gets into a car crash. So now she's fucked for the rest of the movie. Like, her head is fucked, she's lost her job, she's got a broken arm, and she works with a cop to discover what these creatures, these people are. And one of her colleagues, one of her work friends, gets attacked by one. They save her, and then, the guy who owns the resort is like, hey, what are you doing here? Why are you in my place? I fired you. You apologize, but I still don't want you here. Go away. And then she offers to give her money. He offers to give Gretchen money if he comes back to his house. Very sketch. So she goes with him because obviously she wants to leave, and she manages, when she gets to the house, she's put in a swimming pool. She's sprayed with pheromones, and she's now put up to be a meal for these creatures. This is where we find out what these creatures are, and these creatures are cuckoos. They're like humanoid cuckoos. They lay their eggs inside of women, and the men, I don't know what to call it. They impregnate the egg. They provide what the egg needs, and they raise a false child that isn't really theirs. It's the cuckoo, and the mother always comes to collect the cuckoo when it returns from wherever it disappears to. And as soon as we know that, these monsters lose all their scary. They lose all their scary, and they are quite weird. They can unhinge their jaw, open their mouth much wider, but they sort of have a weird slimy hand, which is like the egg stuff, which they shove into the woman if they don't die by choking to death first. And so they take her little sister because guess what? Her mum, or her stepmom, and her dad came here on their honeymoon. Do you know what that means? Uh-oh. Her little sister is one of these cuckoo creatures, and she runs to try and save her from the hospital because the mother was sent home, and she fights one of the cuckoos, she kills it, and then she manages to escape the building whilst one of the mad scientists kills the policeman, and the policeman kills the mad scientist. So it's like in Fortnite where you get a double death and they both die, and these two manage to escape, and they get in the car of the French girl which they met at the start of the movie, and they ride off into the sunset together, and that's where the movie ends. No solid revolution, no solid information, it is just ending. Gonna be honest, that is a ending that has pissed me off slightly, because it doesn't explain what happened to the mother. It doesn't explain what happens to the Cuckoo child, because she has this power now. She can, like, screech, cause people to sort of hallucinate, and sort of catch them in a time loop, which is already weird enough. And that's just the weird bit. The story is really fucking good. Like, the way it is filmed, and the music, and the soundtrack, and the sounds is really good. It's really good at building suspense, it's really good at building drama. It uses these wide distance shots with, like, a lot of stuff blocking the foreground and also the background, so when characters walk through doors, you're still behind those doors, so you can't really see a lot of what's at the other side, which leads to mystery, unnervingness, on edge. And there's big wide shots at the forest, and those shots always creep me out because forests are creepy anyway. They're really big, you don't know what's actually out there, you don't know what's in them. It's scary, and if you hear noises coming from them, it just makes the wide shots worse, because you know something's out there, you just can't see it. And then they also have these really good shots where they follow something, like they flick between a character and something else that's sort of coming towards them, but then it will disappear, and the shots will keep going back and forth, so you know it's going to pop up somewhere, you know it's going to show up, you know it's going to jump out of nowhere, and you know, like, it's going to come and grab them at some point. But it's really good at sort of, like, holding it off and building up that music suspense from, like, the flickering shots of, like, back and forth and speeding it up. So then, like, it builds up, like, oh shit, something's coming, and then it's like, boom, hits you with the, like, jump scare, or, like, the sort of, oh shit, it's behind me moment, and I think that's really good. So it's really, really well filmed, and it is a really good horror, and it's the first horror that I've watched in a while that has actually scared me and sort of had me on edge whilst watching it. And that's what I want from horror movies. Like, I watch horror movies because I want them to scare me. I want them to have me on edge. I want them to make me feel creeped out. I want them to make me feel sort of, you know, scared, like a horror movie should. And, like, you should go into horror movies expecting to be scared or wanting to be scared, but sometimes they just don't deliver on that. And this one actually achieves that. This one achieved, like, peak scary, peak sort of creepy, until they revealed the monster. And that is the same sort of complaint that I had with sort of Smile, where once I know what the demon is, once I know what the creature is, it loses all scare factor for me. Like, once I know it's actually harmless and it doesn't actually want to kill you, like, the Cuckoos didn't want to kill you, they just wanted to put their eggs inside you. That's not scary. That's not, like, life-threatening. That's not, like, making me worry for the characters, because I know that they're not in any sort of moral danger. I know that they're not in any, like, threat. There's no, like, threat or sort of murderous intent behind the Cuckoos. I know it's still disgusting and, like, morally wrong, and just wrong in general, but still, it's not, like, a scary thing. It's just, like, a more of, that's fucking disgusting, don't do that type of thing. It's not like, oh no, I'm scared, I'm terrified, I'm on the edge of my seat. It's like, that's fucking disgusting, that's gross, I don't want to watch this anymore type of sort of horror. It's like a, I don't know what to put it. It's just not what I expected from a movie called Cuckoo. I'm gonna be honest, I speculated that the main girl was gonna go crazy, and she was sort of cuckoo, you know, crazy, but it's not how this movie actually ended up going. So it did take me by surprise. It did have a little bit of a different sort of story to tell, and I'm quite happy with that. I like it when movies sort of change my expectations, sort of subvert expectations, and it's a really cool movie. I just think that the monster is pretty basic. The acting is phenomenal. The acting is really good in this movie, and the fact that she is, like, constantly getting injured, constantly getting hurt, and, like, the repercussions of that are appearing all the way through the movie just wraps it together really nicely, makes it sort of tied up in a nice little bow, and Again, it is just a excellent movie, which I do recommend that you go watch. It is really good at sort of being a horror movie, and it works all the way up until like the 1 hour sort of 30-minute mark, 1 hour 25 mark, when the monsters get revealed to be nothing more than just a science experiment for this guy who owns this hotel. Once you know that, it's like, okay, movie's no longer scary, and you know the gist, you know the monsters, there isn't going to be much else you can do here, but there is still that threat for the characters, so it may not be scary anymore, but you do still have that underlying threat of, oh no, is this girl going to make it out alive because this guy wants to kill them, this guy wants to experiment on them, and there is still threats of danger outside of the monster. It just makes the monster a little bit more redundant and a little bit less scary throughout the end, like 20 minutes of the movie, which isn't a huge complaint, which isn't a huge deal. It's just, you know, setting up the monster. It didn't have a very satisfying conclusion to that. It's not a movie that I would watch again, but I do still think it is a really good movie nonetheless. So I am going to have to give it a solid 7 out of 10. I think the 7 out of 10 is the one just below, like, I would watch this over and over and over again. Like, that's like the best I can give it, with the mark of like not without it being like rewatchable, like 7-8-ish. So it's definitely a 7 out of 10 for me, and you know what? I hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you all next one. Hope you all have an excellent day, and it's such a good experience to watch this movie. So I recommend that you sit down, get some popcorn, snuggle up with like a loved one, family, friend, or even by yourself to make it even more of a scary experience and watch this movie, because it is genuinely really good.